Run away now. During a family trip in summer, we stopped at a rest area. Suddenly, the woman at the shop whispered this to me and vanished as soon as she noticed my husband calling my name. I was bewildered by this momentary, phantom-like event. However, the truth revealed by a photo I saw later was beyond imagination. I thought, no way. Can this really be happening? And when I understood the strange meaning of her words, my daughter's summer vacation turned into a nightmare. My name is Angela, a 35-year-old office worker. I am divorced with an 8-year-old daughter. After my divorce 5 years ago, I have been living with my daughter Nicole, with support from my parents. I thought I was done with men, but a year ago, I met Matt through a friend and quickly remarried. He owns an IT company, is responsible, and has been kind and honest to both me and my daughter. We also bonded over the fact that both of our previous marriages ended due to our partner's infidelity, which was one reason we decided to get married. Matt and I, both remarried, just registered our marriage without a ceremony. And my daughter and I moved into his apartment to start our married life. I felt truly at peace with the happiness I had finally found. However, this peaceful life did not last long. 6 months into our marriage, his company started to fail. He ran around daily trying to manage finances, visibly becoming more haggard. Out of desperation, I gave him the little savings I had from before we married. But it was like a drop in the bucket. Then, a few days later, an incident occurred that tore our marriage apart. Hey, what is this? You were hiding something this important from me? When I came home from work, I was horrified to see what was in my husband's hand. It was a bank book in Nicole's name, with about $50,000 saved. It was given to me by my in-laws instead of compensation from my ex-husband who refused to pay. At the time, I wanted to divorce as soon as possible, and had given up on getting child support from my ex. So the gesture from my former in-laws was greatly appreciated. And I kept the money in a fixed deposit for my daughter's future. I should have hidden the bank book where Matt couldn't find it. I regretted it, but it was too late. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hide it, but I hesitated because I was actually wondering whether to give the money to Matt. Just then, I was told by the friend who introduced us that his company's bankruptcy was only a matter of time, which made me hesitate further. However, I couldn't bring myself to say that to him then. You really are cold-hearted. You knew I was in trouble. I'm really sorry. Well, whatever. Go to the bank tomorrow and cancel the fixed deposit. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. That money is also from Nicole's grandparents. I can't use it without their permission. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? My sudden lie did not convince him, and he furiously yelled at me. I tried to calm him down, suggesting he shut down the company and start over. But it only added fuel to his anger. You ungrateful person. I married someone like you with a child and all, and you'll regret this. After throwing these final words at me, he threw the bank book at me and left the apartment, not returning for several days. I was left alone, lamenting my fate, and the word divorce began to haunt my thoughts. Mom, is Dad busy with work? Looking at my daughter's concerned face, I felt unbearable thinking she might lose her father again. It's all right. Dad will be back soon. I half convinced myself, praying for his return. Matt came back home a week later. And perhaps my prayers were heard because he told me he had managed to arrange some money. Seeing his happy face after he had stormed out, I felt a deep sense of relief. Sorry for worrying you. It's okay. I'm sorry I couldn't understand your hardship. Hey, as a sign of making up, how about we go on a family trip? It's also Nicole's summer vacation, how about going to the beach? Excited by Matt's suggestion, my daughter was thrilled, and I eager to mend our relationship. Immediately applied for leave from work. A friend of my husband offered us his seaside villa, so that became our destination. On the day, we set off in the car, driven by my husband, heading to the beach about 3 hours away. Along the way, we stopped at a highway rest area. While my husband watched over our daughter eating ice cream, I went shopping at the store. As I was about to leave, a woman approached me from behind and said, "Excuse me." She handed me a smartphone, saying, "You forgot this." I realized she was the cashier I had seen earlier. Wondering when I had dropped it, I thanked her and took it, but then something shocking happened. Suddenly, she leaned in close and whispered in my ear, "Run away now." Startled, I tried to look back at her face. But as I heard my husband and daughter calling from behind, she quickly turned away and disappeared in an instant. I thought, what was that all about? After that, I looked around the store, but there was no sign of a woman. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Although I found the situation odd, I somehow couldn't bring myself to talk about the woman to Matt. Eventually, we arrived at the vacation home and quickly headed to the beach about a 10-minute walk away. There's a secluded cape nearby where we can see the stars. Let's go there tonight. Nicole was thrilled by his suggestion, and gradually, I forgot about the woman from the rest area. A few hours later, I needed to make a work-related phone call. So we decided to go back to the vacation home. Nicole also wanted to use the restroom, so we left Matt napping on the beach and headed back. As soon as we got inside, Nicole, who had been holding it in, hurried to the restroom and accidentally kicked Matt's duffel bag, scattering its contents. I urged her to hurry up while I gathered the items and paused when I found a bag of sleeping pills. I thought, why would Matt have these? Maybe he's been unable to sleep because of work stress? Just then, my phone rang. It was Susan, the friend who had introduced me to Matt and a longtime confidant. "I heard something concerning and thought you should know." After some light conversation, the topic shifted to my husband. Susan and I had been told that Matt was divorced, but in fact, his previous wife had died in an accident. I hadn't thought much of it, maybe he didn't want to discuss such a painful past. But as Susan continued, the seriousness of the situation dawned on me. His previous wife died 3 years ago, exactly where you are, at the sea. During a trip, she slipped off the cape they were visiting to watch the stars and drowned. She had a substantial life insurance policy, and Matt was investigated by the police at the time. However, it was ruled an accident due to insufficient evidence. Chills ran down my spine at Susan's words. Shortly after we registered our marriage, Matt had suggested that we take out life insurance policies with each other as beneficiaries. Then, Susan sent me a photo of Matt's previous wife, Vanessa, which left me speechless. The woman next to my husband in the photo was the same woman from the service area who had whispered, "Run away." But she's supposed to be dead, right? Confused but realizing I needed to escape, I hurriedly dressed Nicole. "Nicole, get dressed quickly." I rushed to get her out of her swimsuit, grabbed our things, and ran out of the vacation home. Remembering there was a police station on the way here, I headed there as fast as we could, with Nicole following, confused but trying to keep up. "Please help." At the police station, I started to say, "My husband," but then hesitated. I thought, how can I even begin to explain this? That's the question that popped into my head. Still, I tried my best to convey the imminent danger. While I was trying to find the words, a voice called out from behind, "Hey." Turning around, I saw Matt had driven after us, and I froze in fear. "There you are." I was worried. "Officer, I'm sorry. We got separated during our trip." He smoothly lied and apologized to the officer with a friendly smile. convincing the police officer, who advised me not to worry my husband. But despite his calm demeanor, his eyes weren't smiling, and I shuddered, realizing that speaking out here without proof would only make me seem delusional. I'm sorry. Let's go back. I thanked the officer and left the police station. Actually, there was a sudden issue at work. I need to go back. I was just asking for directions to the station. You should have called me first. I didn't want to wake you since you were napping. I was going to call from the train. His suspicious gaze told me he wasn't convinced by my excuses. I'll call my office again to see if my colleague can handle it. I moved away from Matt under the guise of making a call and pretended to talk to my office. Then I lied, saying, "It's sorted. I don't need to go back." We agreed to return to the vacation home together. I thought, if Matt is after my life, I will stop him myself and expose his past crimes. With a firm resolve, I sat silently in the car he drove back to the vacation home. When we returned to the villa and finished dinner, Nicole, who was tired of playing, seemed to be sleepy immediately. Still, she insisted, "I want to go see the stars," but I said, "Let's do it tomorrow." I told her and took her to the bedroom. Now it's adult time. Let's drink and relax tonight. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. Can I sleep with Nicole? Come on, don't be like that. It's only 8 o'clock. Here, I have vitamins that are great for fatigue. He handed me the sleeping pills, presenting them as vitamins. This was the moment, and I decided to confront him. Hey, these aren't vitamins, they're sleeping pills, right? Huh? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, I saw the paper bag with the medication. Did you do the same thing to Vanessa 3 years ago? Matt's expression hardened at the mention of his former wife's name. But he quickly burst into laughter. I thought you were acting strange. Is that what you were thinking about? I don't know who told you about Vanessa, but that was an accident. The strange one is you. Then why did you lie about being divorced? And what was the purpose of deliberately bringing me to the site of your previous wife's accident? What, you were upset about that? My bad, I was insensitive. I apologize, so cheer up. Then, drink that a vitamin right now. Matt dodged the question with a silly grin, but my direct challenge finally made him snap. Enough of this. Yes, I did it. He then confessed that he had staged his wife's accident 3 years ago to solve his company's financial problems and collected the insurance money. Now, it's your turn. The gentle you will now go to the accident site to commemorate Vanessa. And then you'll slip and fall into the sea. Please, don't hurt Nicole. He then pulled out a rope from somewhere and, despite my pleading tears, tied my hands. Of course, you alone are enough. There's no point in bothering with a kid like her. He then dragged me to the parking lot, threw me in the back seat of the car, and started driving. During the drive, he cheerfully recounted the day he killed his former wife. She was a foolish woman. Well, you were easier to trick. Eventually, we arrived at the scene, and he dragged me out of the car to the cliff's edge. Goodbye. My husband unties the rope in my hand and reaches out to shove it towards the sea.
What?
As he reached out to push me towards the sea, I grabbed his shirt and executed a perfect wrestling throw, pinning him to the ground and twisting his wrist hard. Just then, car lights shone on us, and running towards us was Susan, my friend who had been on the phone with me all this time as I recorded our conversation. Sorry, Angela. I introduced you to such a strange man, and look what happened. Save the talk for later. Grab that rope. Ouch. What the heck are you two doing? Did you trick me? Confused by my sudden retaliation and the appearance of my friend, Matt was at a loss. Don't say things like tricking. Don't put us in the same category as you. Susan and I, both having learned wrestling in the past, had never had a chance to show it off. However, I didn't have a chance to show it off, and my husband didn't ask me, so I kept quiet. Sorry for being such an easy target. But I'm not foolish enough to let you do as you please. My friend and I subdued the fiercely resisting Matt, wrapping him in duct tape from Susan's car for self-defense. Stop it, help. Hey, this is getting annoying. Should we just throw him into the sea? That sounds about right. We'll just say he fell by himself. Don't say things like that, please. Please forgive me. While joking lightly, we shoved the crying Matt into the car and drove straight to the police station to hand him over. You shouldn't underestimate women. I said goodbye to my husband and handed over the recorded audio to the police. It was strange how Susan had quickly found her way to such a secluded location. Hey, you found your way here without getting lost. Actually, I was wandering around when a woman passing by showed me the way. But, I feel like I've seen that woman somewhere before. Could it be, was it Matt's former wife, Vanessa? As I said this with a mischievous smile, Susan's eyes widened in surprise. Afterwards, Matt faced a reinvestigation for the incident 3 years ago, and was severely punished for this attempted crime. I divorced him and claimed $40,000 in compensation, which he paid by selling his only property, his apartment. Nicole and I resumed our peaceful life, and ever since, she has expressed an interest in learning wrestling, which we now enjoy together. After the case settled, Susan, Nicole, and I visited the home of Matt's previous wife, Vanessa. We met her parents and told them what happened. And it felt like the photo of her in their home smiled kindly at us.